Hi everyone, in this video I am going to explain about the definition of electron affinity and different things related to the electron affinity. For example, its unit, then successive electron affinity, trend, what happens as we move from top to bottom, as we move from left to right in periodic table, what happens to the value of electron affinity, difference between the electron affinity and electron gain enthalpy, what is the meaning of both these terms, and some exceptions we are going to discuss. So let's begin. Electron affinity means what? We know that in an atom centrally there is a nucleus. Around the nucleus electrons are revolving. Nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons. The positive charge is concentrated in the nucleus. Electron affinity means when an electron is added to neutral isolated gaseous atom, then amount of energy released, that is the electron affinity. Here for example, general atom, last cell I showed, an outer electron, suppose if we add here in the outer shell of that atom, if the extra electron is get added, it depends upon the tendency of an atom either to accept or not to accept, but in general what happens, when we add electron, energy is released. So whatever the energy released, that energy we call it as an electron affinity. So sometime it may be 80 kilojoule per mole, 90 kilojoule per mole, like that energy is get released. So let me repeat, amount of energy released when electron is added to the neutral gaseous isolated atom of an element. Okay. Now here why we are taking the gaseous state is required for that isolated atom, because atoms are available in isolated form in their gaseous state. Suppose we are considering solids, iron available in iron rod, but iron rod, in case of iron rod, that iron atoms are in the solid state, isn't it? And these iron rod that are not in isolated state. So whenever the atoms are in isolated state, so they should be there in their gaseous form. So isolated, gaseous, neutral atom, and in that when we put electron, energy is released, that is the electron affinity. Very easy it is. Now what is the unit for electron affinity? The unit for electron affinity and electron gain enthalpy, both are the same one. We know that electron volt per atom or joule per atom or the kilojoule per mole or the kilocalorie per mole. These are the units used for the electron affinity, and previously we learned ionization enthalpy. In that also same units are used. Relation also we know that 1 electron volt per atom is equal to 1 joule per atom, which is equal to, it's 96.45 kilojoule per mole, which is equal to 23.06 kilocalorie per mole. This is about the unit for the electron affinity. Then the Born-Haber cycle, that method is used so as to determine the value of electron affinity. Okay, now in the puzzle, suppose map is to be made and something, that part of the map is missed. So children's, what they are doing, they are putting something in that vacant part, okay, now in that game, and the map is get completed. In the same way, they'll give the different values of enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of sublimation, atomization, and based on that we should determine the electron affinity. Okay, just similar to solving that puzzle. Separately we'll discuss about the Born-Haber cycle, but with the help of Born-Haber cycle, the value of electron affinities are determined. Now the next thing is successive electron affinity. Successive electron affinity means what? Whenever we put an electron in an atom, so mostly, generally, what happens? Energy is released. Okay. For example, A is atom, general atom in gaseous state. If we put electron, it becomes A minus in gaseous state. So in this case, whatever the energy is released, that is the electron affinity, and this released energy having a positive value. Okay, now plus 50 kilojoule per mole, like that, something positive value is there. Now what happens? We form here negatively charged anion, uninegative ion we form, that is anion. Then whatever the anion is formed, if we want to put one more electron in it, so what will happen? It is difficult to add electron in this anion, because already that anion is negatively charged. and if we want to put one more electron in it, what will happen? Electron repulsion occurs. That's why here there is a formation of A minus 2 takes place, but here in this case energy will not get absorbed. So what will happen? Energy will not get released. Here in this case energy is get absorbed. Student, try to understand. In the first case when we put electron, so here mostly, generally, okay now, please make a note of these things. Mostly, generally what happens? Energy is released, that is having a positive value. But when we put a second electron in an atom, so already the ion, when we put a second electron in that atom, means now it is a uninegative anion. Okay. In this case already it's a negatively charged. When we put negatively charged electron repulsion occurs. So we should provide the energy too. Along with electron we should give the energy. So in this case that electron affinity value is negative. Okay. Now we have a minus 2. Now A minus 2, if we want to add one more electron in it, so how difficult it is, isn't it? So already that species carries minus 2 charge, and we want to put one more electron in it which is negatively charged, so it is very difficult. So in this case what will happen? There will be a formation of A minus 3 ion takes place, but in this case we should provide the energy externally. So means what? In the first case energy is released, that's the electron affinity, but in the second case energy is absorbed. In the third case absorption of energy takes place. Absorption of energy is not get released. So whatever the electron affinity value we have, these values are the negative one here in this case, because energy is absorbed in the second and third case, and in the first case energy is released. Now if we see at a glance, so here A minus get cancelled. If we do sum of all these three successive steps of addition of electron here, and A minus 2 and A minus 2 will get cancelled. So what will remain? A in gaseous state plus 1, 2 and 3. 3 electrons if we put in it result in the formation of A minus 3. Now the question is, what about the overall energy? The overall energy, either is it positive or negative? Because here the first step, it is mostly generally it is positive. When we put electron, energy will be released. Okay now? But always when we put electron in negative ion, always energy is absorbed, not released. Okay now, always. So here these values of electron affinity are the negative one. Now the question is, what is the sum of all the three successive steps for this electron affinity? Okay, so the sum of all the steps is always negative. Okay, if there is a question, which of the following is value of electron affinity, sum of electron affinities, in case of when n plus 3 electron, there is a formation of n minus 3. So electron affinity for this process, when the 3 electrons are added in a nitrogen atom, n minus 3 will be formed. In this case the electron affinity values are the negative one. Okay, now there is no any objection. Okay, good. Now the next part is, after successive electron affinity, the next part is factors which affects upon the electron affinity. The factors are identical. Those which are those factors we learned in ionization potential, same factors are affecting here. So first factor is, next part I am starting, factors affecting electron affinity value. So factors affecting electron affinity value, first one is atomic size or atomic radius. See that smaller the size, lesser the distance between nucleus and the upcoming electron, so more energy will be released. For example, here we have a lithium, first group elements, then here we have a sodium, and we have a potassium. Here third one is a potassium. We know that top to bottom atomic size increases. So when we put electron in lithium, sodium, potassium, I know all these are the electropositive, they didn't have a tendency to take the electron, but when we put electron in them, what will happen? A certain energy is released, very less amount of energy will be released. So whatever the energy released, now the question is, among these three, which is having the higher electron affinity value? So the answer is, smaller the size means distance between nucleus and electron is less. So here the more electron affinity value is, more energy is released when we put electron in lithium as compared to the when we put electron in sodium and when we put electron in potassium. Comparatively least energy will get released. So what we conclude, atomic size is inversely proportional to the electron affinity. Smaller the size, more the electron affinity, and greater the size, lesser the electron affinity. The second factor is effective nuclear charge. So we know that effective nuclear charge means the ability of nucleus, the positive polarity of the nucleus, ability of nucleus to pull electron towards itself. So here we have a first one lithium, then here we have a beryllium, here we have a boron, and here we have a carbon, then nitrogen and oxygen and fluorine and neon is also there. So general trend I am speaking. Okay, now later on specific answer I will give about these second period elements. So what happens? Number of protons are here 3, 4, 5, 6, nitrogen 7, oxygen 8, fluorine 9. So when we put a single electron in all these one separately, so here the nuclear charge is more in case of the fluorine. Okay, effective nuclear charge of the fluorine is more, so more amount of energy will be released. Are you getting? So effective nuclear charge is directly proportional to the electron affinity value. More the ability of nucleus to pull electron, more the effective nuclear charge, more the electron affinity value is. And the third very important factor, that is the electronic configuration. Electronic configuration, we know that if the type of electronic configuration is S2P6, that noble gases, inert gases are of this type. So they are stable, they need not to lose or gain electron. So for the noble gases, they have 8 electron in their valence shell. So when we try to put electron in them, so energy will not be released. So their value is taken as a 0. Okay, the value, so they will not release the energy. Already they are stable one. And if the outer shell electronic configuration is either S2 or P6 or P3 or D5 or D10. Okay, na F is rarely will see, but in such electronic configurations, for them the electron affinity value is very less or 0. For example, nitrogen, it's a 3p3. So when we try to put electron in nitrogen, the very less amount of energy will be released, something 7 kilojoule per mole. For us, very less amount of energy will be released because it's a 3s2 3p3. Okay, and D5 electronic configuration, that is manganese, chromium, D10 zinc, and P6 noble gases we know. Okay, second group element shows the S2 outer shell electronic configuration S2, magnesium 3s2, beryllium 2s2. So if such a outer shell electronic configuration is there, then the electron affinity value is near to the 0. It is very low, irrespective of these two factors. Okay, so let's see the next part. The next part is trend in the electron affinity. We know that about the trend. First thing is, as we move from in a group, if we see from top to bottom, what happens? Top to bottom, atomic size increases. So we know lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, or you may take example of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, whatever it may be. So top to bottom, as the atomic size increases, effective nuclear charge will be decreased, and electron affinity value also decreases because screening effect also increases. So what should we write here? Top to bottom, atomic size increases, effective nuclear charge decreases, screening effect increases. Here in case of lithium only 2 shells are there. In case of sodium 3 shells are there total. Beryllium, lithium, sodium, then potassium, total shells are 4. So inner shell electrons are get increased, number of inner shells also get increased. We call it as a screening effect, and because of screening effect, the nucleus can't pull the last shell electron efficiently, effectively. So because of all these factors, the final thing what happens, electron affinity values also decreases from top to bottom. Are you getting the trend? This is the general trend I told. Electron affinity value decreases from top to bottom. Let's have some specific examples, and very important, student, note them. Group number 14, 15, 16 and 17. Group number 14, period number 1, nothing is there. Period number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. I'll write the names of elements here. Here we have 14 group, we have a carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Okay. Here remaining are the radioactive, neodymium, moscovium, like that. But here 15 group we have a nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. These elements we have. Astatine is also radioactive. So what we are expecting, top to bottom atomic radius increases, but the electron affinity should get decreases. Are you understanding, student? That we here learned in the group, top to bottom atomic size increases, but the electron affinity decreases. But here there is an exception. In these 4 groups, the corresponding third period element having the highest electron affinity value. What is the reason? See, what I am saying, we are expecting that as compared to the carbon, silicon is bigger, as compared to the silicon, germanium, as compared to the germanium, tin, and as compared to the tin, lead is bigger in size. So top to bottom electron affinity should get decreased. But practically what is happening, electron affinity of the silicon is highest one, largest one among all these one, and after the silicon, the electron affinity of the carbon is. The question is, why the electron affinity of silicon is greater than that of the carbon? The answer is, in case of carbon, it consists of total 2 shells. When we are putting electron in its outermost shell, already the how many 4 electrons are there in the second shell of carbon. So in the 4 electrons which are there in second shell, and we are putting one more electron, at that time what happens? Electron repulsion occurs, because already these electrons are in second shell, and second shell having a smaller size. Okay now, so electron repulsion occurs. But in case of silicon, what happens? Silicon belongs to the third period, 3 shells are there, and in the third shell of silicon 4 electrons are there. So we are putting electron in the third shell of silicon, and the third shell is comparatively bigger one, isn't it? And that's why here less repulsion is there as compared to the carbon. Here the less repulsion for the new electron we are seeing in the case of silicon. And same is the reason here in case of the nitrogen and phosphorus. Phosphorus shows more electron affinity value. Here oxygen, sulfur shows more electron affinity value. In chlorine shows the more electron affinity value. Why? Because these corresponding third period elements have a 3 shells, second period elements having a 2 shells. The second shell, the elements with 2 shells are small sized, element with 3 shells are the comparatively bigger in size. So what will happen when we are putting electron in the elements with 2 shells? There is a more electron repulsion, and that's why they have a less tendency to take the electron. Here they have a comparatively more tendency, so that's why it's an exceptional one. So if someone asked, what is the trend of the electron affinity values? So the trend for the 14th group element is, it's a silicon, and as compared to the silicon, electron affinity is less for the carbon, then it is less for the germanium, then it is less for the tin, then it is less for the lead. Okay, so this is the trend: carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Okay, now same pattern is followed here. Highest electron affinity is shown by the phosphorus, then less for the nitrogen, then less for the arsenic, less for the antimony, and lastly least for the bismuth. 15th group nicogens I told. Now very important to note about the oxygen family elements. In case of oxygen family elements, highest electron affinity is shown by the sulfur. But here the trend is totally different. We are observing the trend as, after the sulfur, less value of electron affinity is for the selenium, then less value is for the tellurium, less value is for the polonium, and the least value is for the oxygen. Student, please note for the examination, oxygen shows the least electron affinity value for the 16th group elements among the 16 group elements. Now here let's move here. 17 group elements, highest electron affinity shown by the chlorine, then fluorine, then here bromine, then iodine. Okay, astatine is radioactive. So this is the sequence. And one more thing, the element which shows the highest electron affinity value amongst all elements in periodic table, the answer is chlorine. Chlorine shows the highest electron affinity value. Second thing, if we compare electron affinity values of the 16th and 17th group elements, so we will conclude that if we take any element from the 16th group and any element from the 17th group, electron affinity of the 17th group element will be the higher one. Okay, try to understand. In case of 17th group element, iodine having the least electron affinity value. Okay, even if we compare iodine, which is having the very less electron affinity value from the 17th group, with any 16th group element, in 16th group sulfur is showing the highest electron affinity value, but electron affinity of the iodine is greater than that of the sulfur. Okay, for the comparison it is useful. So this is about the trend in a group, I told, with some exceptions. Now trend in a period. Trend in a period, if we move from left to right, what will happen? So lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon, second period elements we are discussing. Their atomic numbers are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Atomic radius, atomic size decreases as we move from left to right in the periodic table. Effective nuclear charge increases, that all we studied. Okay na? And because of the van der Waals radius, that neon having the highest, largest atomic size. Okay. So we are expecting that left to right atomic radius decreases, that's why electron affinity should be increases. This is the correct one, but we should have a look over the electronic configuration. Outer shell electronic configuration for the lithium is, it's a 2s1, for beryllium 2s2, for the boron it's a 2p1, carbon 2p2, nitrogen 2p3, 2p4 oxygen, 2p5 fluorine and 2p6 for the neon. So we studied that if the outer shell electronic configuration is either P6, P3 or S2. So in this case, electron affinity value is the highest one, irrespective of its effective nuclear charge and atomic size. So amongst all these one, which will have a least electron affinity value? Yes, by default it's a neon. Neon shows the least electron affinity value amongst all these one. Then there is a nitrogen, then here it comes the beryllium. Now after beryllium, we are expecting lithium should show a less electron affinity value, but we are observing that after beryllium, boron shows the less electron affinity value, and then the lithium comes. Now the question is, after beryllium, why we are not taking lithium? Okay, practically we are observing after beryllium, electron affinity value is greater for the here lithium or boron, lithium, and then it is for the boron. Why lithium is showing the greater value for the electron affinity? Because even though its size is more, if we are comparing boron and lithium, we are seeing that lithium is bigger one. Even though lithium is bigger than that of the boron, its electron affinity is more, because as soon as lithium will gain one electron, it will become stable. 2s1 will become 2s2. And after lithium we have boron. After boron, the higher electron affinity value is shown by the carbon. Okay, then there is oxygen and fluorine. So this is the trend, students. So I gave the reason for everyone. Neon, why it is least? Because 2p6 configuration. Nitrogen, why it is less? Because 2p3 configuration. Beryllium 2s2. Lithium, why we have chosen? Because once lithium get one electron, it will become stable. Then we are following the atomic size pattern. And see, here I am telling, that's why these elements are following. No, experimentally observed values are like this, and that's why we are giving something reason for it. Okay. So students, it's overall the things are the adequate one. So electron affinity definition, unit and method used for the identification, that all the things I explained. Trend in periodic properties, trend in a group, top to bottom increases or decreases. Top to bottom electron affinity decreases, left to right it increases. But what are the exceptions? That general part, most of the things I try to cover here. Okay. Okay, bye all of you. Thank you for watching.